It was one of the most powerful massive Russian airstrikes on Ukraine. Last night, the Russians launched over 500 drones and 50 cruise missiles at Ukrainian cities. The main targets of the attack were Zaporizhia and Lviv. At least 5 people were killed and dozens were injured. The missiles and drones fell on residential buildings, schools in the Lviv area, and churches. Due to the possible threat, Poland and NATO scrambled their fighter jets, which patrolled the eastern border of our airspace during the night. It was a night of terror. It had been known since the evening that an attack was coming. That was when the first reports appeared in eastern Ukraine about large groups of drones heading west. Ukrainian air defenses managed to shoot down a large number of them. Unfortunately, not all of them. A large number reached their targets. Cars were burning. There was an explosion. I ran outside and stayed there while my husband stayed inside. I had to hide almost naked. Several women gave me clothes. These are the pajamas they gave me. I was bleeding. In addition to drones, the Russians used a significant number of cruise missiles. According to reports, more than 50 were fired. Most were aimed at critical infrastructure complexes. This is essentially a Russian campaign that has been going on for several days. The goal is to destroy the Ukrainian power and heating networks. According to Ukrainian military officials, the Russians are trying to divide their attacks. On the one hand, they are shelling large cities to spread terror. On the other hand, they are more tactically creating a buffer zone just behind the front line to force the people still living there to flee. In my opinion, I am convinced that they are doing everything possible to make the border areas uninhabitable. Then people will be afraid to travel there, get on a train, go to the market, and students will be afraid to return home. The goal is to create a kind of gray zone. That is why Russians are increasingly attacking railroads, stations, and trains. Yesterday, a Russian drone fell on a train full of civilians in the Sumy region. At least 30 people were injured. The Russians used a double strike tactic. A second drone struck the same place a few minutes after the first, just as the evacuation was taking place. The president of Ukraine called on the world to respond more harshly to Russia. The international community is not responding decisively and adequately to what is happening. The constant escalation and shamelessness of these attacks. Putin is doing this and seems to be mocking the West in response to its silence and lack of decisive action. Russia has rejected every proposal to end the war or even to halt the attacks. It is brazenly trying to destroy our civilian infrastructure, especially now before winter. Gas stations, power plants, and transmission systems. There has been no real response from the world. Ukraine will try to retaliate against the Russians. According to Western media, Kyiv is preparing a campaign of attacks targeting Russian power plants and combined heat and power plants, mainly located in the Moscow area. Residents of Russian cities far from the front lines are to be reminded of the ongoing war in their own backyard.